This episode of Inside EMS is brought to you by Lexapol, the experts in policy, training, wellness support and grants assistance for first responders and government leaders. To learn more, visit lexapol.com. That's LEXIPOL.com. Hello and welcome to another edition of Inside EMS. I'm not Chris Cebollero, as you can tell. I'm his English stunt double stand-in guy that he has on when he goes off and does something uber cool, and I think he's overseas as we speak. And so I'm Rob Lawrence. I jumped over the fence from my own podcast, EMS One Stop, which is also on the same channel. Do take a chance to listen to that too. I've got to do a plug. But as always, there's always one constant. When Chris is away, there's a man that's always here to anchor the show, and that's our friend Kelly Grayson. How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. I'm stuck in a hotel in northern Arkansas because I was playing Good Samaritan to a couple of stranded damsels in distress. But it's good to see you again. I note yet again that you and Robin Leach are not in the same place at the same time, and you still have the same initials. I'm just for our listeners, can you say Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous?
Well, this is Lifestyles of the EMS Rich and Famous. And,
okay.
Okay. You're right. We've never seen
in other words, we make substantially more than minimum wage.
Well, that, and let me get straight in with the plug. Of course, I'm over here in California. We are running legislation to improve our Medi-Cal rates to actually pay people more, and
very necessary.
And the exciting thing is that all of our union partners are in this with us, and so it's everybody concerted effort. Maybe a chat for another show. However, so this brings us on to this week's guest, and I'd like to welcome Jason Patton from Fire Department Coffee. And if you, like me, sat down and watched some of his content that's available, and we'll obviously put those links in the show notes. Jason, I've got to tell you, I sat there and went, yep, that been there, done that. Yep, that happened to me. And so you guys have to watch some of the content. But so why don't you tell us a little bit about you and a bit about the product and a bit about the kind of message that you're trying to put across to our EMS ambulance fire communities?
Yeah, for sure. First off, I appreciate you guys having me on, and I will say it's either your professionalism or your accent, but that was the most professional intro I've heard on a podcast. It was perfect. And Kelly,
I also record voicemail messages.
You should. And Kelly, you might want to explain more than I'm stuck in a hotel because I was rescued two damsel in distress. Like that. Just
let it stick right, just like that.
Just gonna leave it right there. Perfect. Everyone has.
I was at the World Steampunk Exposition in Lafayette, and a couple of our guests of honor, their vehicle blew up, and they have to get back to northern Arkansas, and they're just, I'm a sucker for strays and damsels in distress. Yes. So I took them and their gaffer back all the way to northern Arkansas.
I'm assuming when you say blew up, you're talking engine, not IED, right? Let's just go.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Engine
would be interesting. Yeah. But no, again, I appreciate you guys having me on. So Fire Department Coffee, we established 2016. I actually got involved because of my videos on Fire Department Chronicles. And I met Luke Schneider, the CEO of Fire Department Coffee. He's a Navy veteran, and we are veteran-owned and firefighter-run. It's been an incredible journey up to this point. Our goals have been high-quality coffee to every hardworking man and woman across the world, which we've really been able to do, and we've really had a good time doing it. And obviously, a portion of our sales go back to helping sick and injured first responders. So it's been an amazing thing. I literally just came back from the NHRA. We are now the official coffee of the NHRA, and I got to watch some incredible racing. I actually got to sit down by the track and stand right next to one of those top fuelers going off.
Just feel it.
It's like I had earplugs. I mean, it takes your breath away. It was the most incredible thing I've ever experienced. It was so cool. So, everything has been very, very, very cool, rising quickly. And obviously, the goal of every video we've ever put out is just to create some fun awareness of what we deal with as first responders, firefighters, paramedics, EMTs. I'm lucky enough I get to enjoy both sides of that fence, which I actually genuinely do enjoy. But I think, our world, the world in general, but especially our world, we need some humor. We need a little way to be able to laugh some stuff off. So I'm very, very, very lucky I get to do it.
Yes, indeed. And normally in this podcast with Cebollero, I have to wear both hats. I have to be both the smart and the funny one. And now I get to take a night off. So that's a wonderful thing. And you guys at Fire Department Coffee are supplying the top fuel for public safety and EMS, the thing that keeps us functioning. I don't know if you're as big a caffeine junkie as I am, Rob, but I can't do without
I'm never without.
There you go. There you go.
It's always there.
You know, it's funny too, because as I've gotten older, I've had to learn. Like, I mean, I love coffee. I just love the taste of it. I love everything about it. I've had to learn. I can go to sleep after a cup of coffee, but it will not be a good to sleep. So after about 5 o'clock, I gotta watch what I'm drinking, man. Otherwise, I'm gonna be up all night, which is crazy, man. In this field so long, you wouldn't think so.
See, my superpower is I can sleep when I choose to sleep, no matter what. You can have a brass band playing in the room. I can be amped up on caffeine or methamphetamine or whatever. Did I say methamphetamine?
I mean, listen, whatever it takes to get
no judgment. No judgment.
I think what you're doing, Jason, is exceptionally relatable. And again, you're right. You know, the Patch Adams School of Medicine, right? The humor, that little bit of a laugh. Sometimes they say that our humor is, black in order to cope. But actually, I watched a couple of them, and the case where we have a vehicle contact and the driver who was previously noted to be walking around is now having some degree of neck and back pain. I'm sure everyone watching and listening, because of course we're on video and we're on podcast, can relate to that moment. I know in one of my old services, and I won't mention, but it was 3,000 miles to my east, when there was a bus crash, they locked the doors to stop more people jumping on.
And I'm telling you, it was so funny because the original video I wanted to make was that because we went on a van accident and we get there, we're assessing people, and this guy walks up to us and he goes, "Hey, not everyone that's in that van right there or right there was in that vehicle when it crashed." We're like, "What?" I mean, sure as crap. People were piling in there. And at one point in time in my state, you were guaranteed $10,000 from any car accidents. They were just trying to get as much of that money as possible. But that is hysterical, man, because I'm telling you, when I started making those videos, that was all about the things I've seen in the fire service or as a paramedic. Like, people would think, as psychotic as some of these things are, like people pouring urine in their eyes for pink eye, you would think that would be a one-off, and it is not even close to a one-off. It's amazing.
We had a similar van accident just down the street from our ambulance quarters years ago, from a certain manufacturing or plant that bust in workers, and people from the low-income housing complex on the hill above it came down and laid in the ditch. And we knew that not everybody that was pretending to be a patient was actually in that van. Yeah. I remember one guy lying on his back, holding his breath and feigning unconsciousness. And I got a laryngoscope in my hand and started to scissor his mouth open and said just offhand to my partner, "Man, if this guy knew how many dead people's mouths this laryngoscope had been in, he'd sit up and take a breath." And lo and behold, he did.
That's funny.
That's quite remarkable.
And I love doing the videos. And I got a really good compliment one time I was talking to a guy about possibly making a firefighter movie. And he said, he goes, "What's cool about the videos is that you show that there's empathy coming from the fire service and paramedics. And then, because not all people are stupid, man. Listen, I tell people, if you're thinking 911, call 911. We'd rather show up and tell you, you don't need to go to the hospital versus the opposite." So, but it's the truth, man. I mean, you literally, as the saying goes, you literally can't make this stuff up. It's impossible.
It kind of represents the quirk that people deal with on the road. And a lot of this would go in that book that we all know we want to write, which is "You couldn't make that insert word here up." Yeah. And in the same way that, we all watch Will Flannery. And of course, that because that's relatable to the hospital. And immediately this is relatable to the world of emergency medical services. So were you the firefighter first or the medic first? Which came first?
So I was actually I went to EMT school, then paramedic. I worked for a private ambulance company for about 2 years, and during that time I went to fire school. And so here you have to be at minimum an EMT to even go to fire school, you have to be a minimum of an EMT. Yeah. But so I got hired on I worked as a medic for a little bit and then got hired on as a firefighter medic, and I've been doing both. And EMS is easy to make fun of just because there's just such a wide variety of stuff to make fun of in there. But I genuinely enjoy it, man. I love, there's nothing more heart pounding or like adrenaline driving than showing up on a call and someone is literally looking at you. And like my first like classic SVT was like that. We walked through the doors and the guy's like crap on, like sitting in his chair, tripoding, looks right at us with sweat dripping off his face, and he goes, "I'm gonna die," and we're like, "Oh crap, you're gonna die." So we ended up welding him. That was a whole like thing, but it's there's nothing more energizing than truly saving someone's life, and it's just a really cool thing.
I just got to jump in there, Jason. When you moved away, I just got challenge coin envy.
For
those listening and not watching, hang on, man. So you got 4 rows. I've only got 2. So.
I also have that one too. So.
Okay, you win. Let's get back to the show.
Okay.
Let's get back to the show.
Yeah, challenge coin envy on both of us.
I'm very lucky, man. I go to these shows, FDIC and stuff, and people, and I mean, and I want to display them properly. So my wife has been incredible getting me stuff. And I love challenge coins. You know what the worst part is? I probably have about 450 challenge coins. And if you do the whole challenge coin thing in a bar, I'm going to buy the drinks every time because I never carry one in my pocket. I'm the worst, man. It's so bad.
Oh man.
Yeah, we need a large rucksack to bring. No, which one is it? Is it the
absolutely. Exactly.
We'll have to send him one that he can carry around. He can tell people, no, that's not a condom. That's a challenge coin, just in case. Your Fire Department Chronicles is on my regular watch list and subscribing in my feed because I need my humor. I try to stay off most of the EMS sites because they're peopled with monosynaptic idiots and too many t-shirt ads. But I watch. I'm a Fire Department Chronicles, Firefighter Fenton.
Nice.
I think I found Fire Department Chronicles from Firefighter Fenton. First watching your stash is amazing. Where the cops envy the firefighter stashes, and I watched that and Dr. Glaucomflecken to give us a and. So what I want to ask is, other than an overdeveloped sense of whimsy, what brought about the Fire Department Chronicles? What spurred you to say, man, I can make people laugh. Let's do that.
I think it was, I've said it a million times, there's one of me in every fire department across the world. Like, some guy that's cracking the joke, someone that's definitely more inappropriate jokes at inappropriate times, that kind of thing. But we just were messing around the station with a GoPro, started fire department. It was National Geographic's Fire Department Edition. That was the first one. And then we got a lovely cease and desist from National Geographic's. And they're I got to give them credit. They were totally cool about the whole thing. They're like, hey, so change your name. We're like, okay, cool. So change the name, and then it's developed over time of like highlighting the different things, the different paramedics or firefighters or EMTs that you work with, and then kind of morphed into the TikTok-y stuff that I really enjoyed. Kind of showing when other people were putting videos up, kind of like saying, hey, that's probably not the best way to be doing that. Then the
stitches are great.
Yeah, I love doing the stitches, man. And then my green screens is where that's what really accelerated my pages. And that was really fun because those shows were just atrocious. I mean, they were just like nowhere in the realm of reality. And I had so much fun making fun of those. And then most recently is the real things I've done. So it's been fun, man. It's been a cool little development.
So what is your followership on these various channels then, Jason?
I believe across all channels right now, it's like, I think it's just over 5 million followers is what I have right now. So
that's spectacular. Impressive. And so that leads me on to the next question then. Of course, we want to promote social media, use social media to tell not only your story, but obviously departmental stories. We've got campaigns going on in California where we're trying to target politicians with things. So how do you build an audience? What are the secrets to do that on social media?
You know, it's like anything in life. You gotta expect to not do well at first, right? There's always a learning curve, figuring out. And what's incredible about social media is it is constantly changing. The algorithms are changing. The social media is trying to keep up with what the followers and creators want, so on and so forth. So don't be afraid to put out videos that don't get good traction. I literally still have those today, where I'll put something out and it just doesn't get that great of a viewership. Be true to who you are. If your goal is to create social media videos to maybe get a higher rate of volunteers coming into the service, then figure out what's going to kind of drive them in there, like more of a brotherhood or sisterhood in the fire service, showing them the cool things that you get to do as a firefighter. I mean, propane fires, you know, car accidents, all that kind of fun stuff. But the big thing is try to think outside of the box, right? Like whatever you see all the time, see if you can kind of get outside of that. And then repeatability. The two big things I've seen: if you find something that people enjoy, repeat it until you perfect it or wear that out. And then, as long as it's not an educational piece that has to be serious, if you are trying to do something mildly comedic or whatever, put a flaw in the video. And it doesn't have to be a big flaw. It can be like you're holding your hand up and you have 5 and you say 6 people came up to me today. If you do that, people love to correct you. Yes. God, they love it. And what happens is algorithmically that shoots it through the stratosphere, because everyone's like, 5, there's 5, not 6. And then that's everyone's commenting that, and it just shows it to their friends, showed it to their friends. So those are little tiny tips, to kind of help hopefully build a foundation and then kind of move it from there.
I'm not sure where we were going to go today, but actually I think this is a great kind of segment to talk about how, using social media to increase the following. And I hadn't thought about what you just said. I follow a site in the UK and it's called RAF Luton, and they're like the pretend Air Force, and they always put the wrong aircraft in the photograph. And the amount of people, no, that's not an F-111, that's a F-16, and of course, then everybody joins in, and it's so it's targeted disinformation for viewership, right? Is that where we are?
Exactly, man. And it doesn't have to be like significant. I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Don't be like, holding up a heart and be like, these lungs are really great. Like if you're trying to do something serious, but if it's, man, I'm telling you, it's those small things, we're on the biggest ship in the world or whatever. And it's the wrong ship in the picture. And you're like, that's not. But people, man, they love like feeling superior.
Oh yeah. If you ever feel like no one's listening and you're screaming into the void, just misspell something in a post. Oh my God. They'll come out. The grammar police have an early warning system, and they will come out and tell you that you're wrong.
Oh yeah. On my CPR video, we said it's less than 10%. It's a less than 10% survivability rate if people don't do CPR before we arrive there. 15 of us watched this video and watched it 10 times to just make sure everything was good. And we had the greater than symbol wrong because we're idiots. And that was the #1 comment. Not, wow, I learned how to do CPR today. It was, it's less than, bro. We're like, oh my God. But it was great, man. Really
hate clicks counts the same as love clicks. That's
all day.
And again, viewers, listeners, we're not advocating that we go for, deliberate misspelling, deliberate disinformation. But interestingly, I was on a webinar with Juan Cardona this morning, and I didn't realize this, but Juan is actually a native of Colombia, was born in Cali, Colombia, and he was talking today from Bogota, believe it or not. The power of Zoom, right? It's how good it is. But he was talking about this misspelling thing, and they had the World Series of something or the other come to Colombia, except they spelt world WORD. And of course, that then caused massive commentary from around the word. And so what happened is the next day the local newspaper stopped using the word L in everything. And they said, and just to prove it doesn't matter, you knew exactly what we meant, and now you're reading this newspaper, you still know what we meant. So just leave it off. But that then, to your point, then flipped the whole narrative into it was the word cup. Great.
Yeah. I love that, man. I'm telling you, the negative feedback loop in social media, it's an unfortunate thing, but it is the truth. The negative feedback loop in that stuff, it's exponential, and it will truly boost videos, boost things up. And like I said, if you're trying to do a video where you're trying to, come across as a competent human, then, maybe not do that, or maybe have something that's obviously incorrect for the video, that kind of thing. But social media is outrageously powerful. It is extremely good. It can be used for bad, but for the most part, it really is the most powerful tool in anyone's toolbox. I don't care who you are or what your agency is or what it is. If you want to remain relevant, get more interest in your product or your company, you need to use social media in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And sometimes literally thinking outside the box, one of the biggest things, look at advertisers now, they're using TikTok style videos. I mean, you're talking people that used to spend $500,000 on a production. They're paying some kid $300 to do a stupid video on their phone, and they're getting the same amount of reach. So it's like,
that's pretty amazing.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing. I want to shift gears and ask, I've long said that learning is best accomplished between fits of laughter, and the humor that you bring in Fire Department Chronicles and everything allows you to talk about and broach more difficult subjects. And Fire Department Coffee is supporting that cause as well by promoting mental health and wellness among public safety and firefighters. So tell us more about that and how that fuels your passion.
Oh, yeah. No, I think in general, the subject of mental health is always such a super dark, it's just a very serious subject for obvious reasons. But, as you said, Rob, we always kind of lean towards that dark humor thing, the station humor, the stuff that I tell people, just don't put that on the internet. Whatever you do, don't put that on the internet. That's how you're going to get fired. But I mean, in general, it's just being able to approach serious subjects, whether it is, choking or CPR or using an AED or talking about your feelings, that kind of stuff, when it's approached with a comedic background, statistically immediately tells you that, or statistically that it's been proven that people who approach things through comedy, it actually makes people retain the information longer, because it's almost like a new thing. They laugh, they associate whatever that subject was with a happy period or happy moment. And I believe what I've seen with a lot of this, especially I go around, I travel, I do something called How to Hug 101. It's 35 to 45 minutes, sometimes an hour with questions, but it's literally just a very basic thought process and approach to talking about your feelings, things that everyone does on a daily basis, but in a fun comedic way. Because, dude, we can talk about bad stuff, but it doesn't always have to be like super serious,
That's fantastic. And yes, comedy is great. I can quote anything that John Cleese has ever done. Yes, there we go.
He's just resting. He's pining for the fjords. He is.
Pining for the fjords, Kelly. Pining, right. Yes, indeed.
That's what I said.
Yes.
See, you need a lesson in Southern dialect.
Yes, this show is not departed. It's very much alive, though.
We don't know many words, so we have to stretch them out and make them do tricks. So but I will say, as a Southerner, my dialect is closer to the King's English than any other accent in the United States, and that is a proven fact. See, I am hoity-toity.
I did hear that somewhere. Actually, you're probably more English than I am, Kelly.
It's true. It's just
Rob's mind right now is blown. If you're listening to this on a podcast,
that just blew me away.
He's like, did a redneck just tell me that we're blood brothers?
That's so funny.
Absolutely. So, what's next for you, Jason? Obviously, we're enjoying the content you're creating, but what's happening next?
I think, just more content. I have some fun projects in the works right now. Obviously, with Fire Department Coffee, just the incredible opportunity to be in NASCAR and NHRA. There's just two very cool atmospheres, two very cool sets of people that, my family's from Kentucky, and I'll actually be in Kentucky in a couple of weeks, and then I'll actually in Georgia next week as well. So we're just going to be kind of diving into that further. With Chronicles, I have some pretty cool projects coming up, hopefully in the beginning stages of one TV show, and then possibly doing some cool online series for training, which would be very, very cool. Some comedic approaching to it. So,
that is pretty awesome. And we look forward to viewing all of them. Before we close, I have one question to ask. How awesomely fun was it to shoot the Fire Department Coffee commercial with Stipe Miocic where you where you shave and creamed him and he's chasing you across the firehouse.
And he was, let me tell you, that is one of the coolest dudes I've ever met, man. Like, yeah. I was like, hey, I'm gonna put shaving cream on your face and we're gonna pretend to run slow through a station, right? And he's like, okay, that's cool with me, man. Let's go. Like, he's down for anything, he doesn't care. And he was by far one of the most humble humans I've ever met, especially for someone that's a 5-time heavyweight champion. I mean, this dude was just such a cool guy. So it was, very fun experience.
That is awesome. And guys, we Jason, especially tonight, we glad that you were on and hope to have you on again soon. And for myself and our esteemed international correspondent and fill-in co-host Rob Lawrence, thanks for tuning in to Inside EMS. And for myself and Jason Patton, we'll catch you guys next week.